תום, ההקלטה אונליין ליוטיוב לא הולכת כי צריך לאשר אותי מחדש.
אוקיי, טוב, בסדר, אז אולי באופן חד פעמי תנסי אולי ליצור קשר עם עירית כדי שתאשר אותך
אישרה אותי כבר 3 פעמים, נראה לי נצטרך לבדוק למה זה לא עובד.
טוב, כאילו לשיקולך, כנראה שזה פשוט לא עובד עם המחשב שלך, משום מה, משהו במחשב שלך כנראה לא מאפשר לזכור את זה משום מה.
כן, יש לי מחשב מאוד מוגן.
טוב, אז במקרה הזה, אז
שיהיה בלי.
אז שהיום יהיה בלי, ואולי נמצא מישהו אחר שיוכל לעשות את זה במקומך, כי תלוי מה הם יגידו, יכול להיות שהם יגידו שזה לא כזה נורא, שלא יהיה יוטיוב, כי במילא אם אנחנו, הבנתי שאני לה רוצה שנעשה, איך קוראים לזה, הפסקת קיץ.
להחליש לי קצת את הווליום.
סליחה, לא שמעתי מה אמרת?
לא, ביקשתי שהווליום שלי קצת יוחלש. על ידי מי שיודע איך לעשות את זה. יותר טוב? אני לא יודעת, דבר רגע טוב.
סליחה?
תאמר, עכשיו זה בסדר.
אוקיי. אני רק אמרתי אנילה אמרה משהו לגבי זה שהיא רוצה לעשות פגרת קיץ. אז יכול להיות שזה לא יהיה כל כך נורא אם לא יודע כמה זמן שהיא תכננה לעשות את זה, אז עד לפגרת הקיץ שלא יהיו כמה שיעורים עם הקלטות יוטיוב, ואחר כך כבר כשזה יתחדש, אם זה יתחדש, אז ימצאו משהו.
היי אנילה.
משהו אחר.
Just don't let yourself be interrupted with Tom giving you very nice instructions. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Anila. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for coaching Noah.
Yeah.
In this difficult task.
For me, it is difficult task.
And
with a lot of patience.
Exactly. So that's good.
Because it's...
So how is everybody with your new government?
You know, it's like we thought it will be a big bang and everyone will be happy and peace and love in everywhere. But so long it's not very, it's quite similar the day before and the day after.
Okay.
The sunrise and the sunset.
It's like very often it's a bit like this, you know, you anticipate something so much and you want it so much and then it comes and then you go like, huh? Is that it? You know, it's there not more to it. And of course, as you know, Elisheva was going like this, it seems like the government maybe needs to become really stable. So that will be the difficult thing now, isn't it?
Anila, I did like the Indian movement.
Okay. So where you don't know, is it good, is it bad? It's like
no, we are sure it is good.
It's true, it's very good.
Good. It will be difficult for them to be.
Now they have to begin to work.
Yeah, I think Yair Lapid is quite, you know, keen on creating harmony and you know, doing the right things. I hope he gets the support that he needs. So we have to dedicate very, very strongly for ideas of you know, of him to become common, how to say, not common knowledge, but like that everybody wants to go that way. That will be the difficult task, isn't it? Because this is it, you know, it's like all countries when elections are like almost 50-50, of course, then there is a split. Yeah. So it's the same in, where is it, in Argentina or in Chile? I think in Chile at the moment also, where they just had elections and there's this, you know, it's like 51 to 49%. So of course, the one with the 49% is kind of say, oh, it was fraud, it's not honest, blah, blah, this and that. And it really splits the country. And this is, you know, and it's half-half. So this is dangerous. Hello, Leora.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Leora.
I would like to say something, if I may, before just before we start.
You know that we have complete democracy in this group. Anybody can say whatever they want at any time.
So it's a great opportunity to thank Tom for hosting the teachings for a whole year.
Yeah.
So with such devotion and with open heart and goodwill, and did well. Thank you, Tom. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
You enabled us to listen to this teaching study from Annie Losang, and we appreciate it a lot. And now it's time to pass the torch, and he has done it beautifully to Anat, who is here. And I can take you are mute, Anat. And I can tell you that from personal knowledge, Noah, and I can tell you from a personal knowledge that Noah is doing it with a happy mind. So that's lovely. Thank you so much, Noah, and good luck. Your success, like the government, your success is our success.
Wow.
Yeah, it's important. It's important what Leora said. One thing is like, you know, whenever you do this, and then also, you know, not saying Tom got fed up, but one does get fed up, like, you know, every Wednesday like this. So, but thank you very much, Tom, for having been so faithful and so loyal and so, you know, like this. And it is important that you do it with a happy mind. Otherwise, you know, it's not much point. And also, if, you know, especially technology, when things go wrong, or then it, you know, it doesn't work anymore and it's upsetting and all this. So then just to relax and say, well, it's technology, it's like children. You know, the other day we were discussing about making noise. When a neighbor is having a party and when the children outside are jumping on the trampoline, I tell you, the children make more noise than the neighbor with their party. But we get less upset because somebody said, well, yeah, what do you want? They are children. So I said, yeah, what do you want? We're all humans, and technology is what do you want? It's technology. It's good, but sometimes it just totally breaks down and it doesn't do whatever we want it to do. And then no need to get upset. And we had, like, when we did Tara practice last week, because they're changing our heating here from petrol to gas. Because it's less harmful for the environment, and you know, from oil to gas, and I think if you do it now, then you do it voluntarily, then it is still, you get subsidized by the government. But in about 2 years, you have no more choice. You have to do it whether you want or not, because of pollution and CO2, this and that. And so this is what they're doing now, but it's a big job, and they have to break down walls. And we're on the first floor, so it's just below us. So you hear, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. And we were doing Tara practice. I mean, we couldn't understand each other anymore. But still, so I just shut down this technology. People were at home, I was here. I just shut down the microphone, and then that was it. And but still, it's like, again, you know, it's not, the conditions are not always that great. Most of the time they are, but not always. So Tom, thank you very much. And Noah, also thank you very much. And if there is problems or whatever, you know, let me know, or there's not, or somebody else. Also, this is going to be the third last class before this one, Wednesday evening, because, and it works out as if we would have planned, but we didn't plan it. Because I cannot really continue in July because I have retreats to lead. And then, you know, it's like sometimes also I have evening sessions and it's consecutive days. So then I would have to say, well, this Wednesday, yes, this Wednesday, not. And I've, you know, I'm getting older. And quite honestly, I find it quite, how to say, distracting if to be in a retreat and then to do something totally different in the evening and joke around and laugh, and the retreat is in silence and all this. So but Geshe Dorje Damdrul will start teaching from beginning of July, which is what, 3 weekends, isn't it? 3 Fridays, Saturdays. And so he will teach on the 9th chapter. So then, of course, you know, his style, my style, they're totally different. Because why? Because he's a scholar and he has studied this properly. And you might maybe not find it so funny and so entertaining, which I do admit. But this is also, you know, the Dharma is not to be funny and to entertain you. This is just how I cover up my not knowing. But please, you know, if you can, make the effort to listen. It will be complicated. It will go, you know, it will kind of twist your brain. If you're not Leora Kennett or these other, you know, high philosophers in the DFI. But still, you need to hear this in order to really be able to overcome all your negative emotions. And even you don't understand a thing, it doesn't matter, because you need to hear it again and again and again and again and again. So I would really like to encourage you, even you don't need to like it. This is another thing. You know, when you participate in these weekends, let go of the idea that you have to understand and that you have to like it. You just need to hear it. Yeah. And don't twist your brain. Don't try to understand too quickly, because sometimes when we try to be too clever and we try to understand too quickly, then again, we go into wrong views, you know, like with this whole thing about the 9th chapter and emptiness is about just understanding that we think we know is wrong. This is it. And for this is all these arguments. So of course they come from different sides and from different philosophies. So it's a little bit like all the chapters in Shantideva's Bodhicharyavatara. He's giving us a lot of tools to work with. It doesn't mean you have to work with all of them. But if an argument is it speaks to you, use that. Once you have understood what it means, use it again and again and again and again, because this is what meditation means, making the mind familiar with something so that slowly, these levels of wrong views and misconceptions that we have from I being separate from others, things that exist out there separate from my mind, or when we look at just us as a person, I having a body and a mind plus an ego or an I, you know, we have a body, we have a mind. This changes moment by moment by moment, but then there is no real possessor of this body and mind. So you have to hear our wrong views again and again and again to be refuted. And then at one point, you might even be able to talk about it, you know, to discuss it. If you have patience, sometimes I'm not patient enough to discuss these very fine points because I'm not subtle enough with all these things. But then at one point, so you will be able to talk about it, you'll be able to explain it to yourself, and then you start making progress in understanding it. So I know that, you know, they say if you just study and if it's just intellectual understanding, then nothing will change in your mind. You need to meditate on it. This is true, but you need to know what you're meditating on, because otherwise it's like you can go totally in the wrong directions. And Geshe Dorje Damdrul, I mean, he's an amazing scholar. He does have a good sense of humor also. He speaks a bit fast, so maybe if it's too fast, you can also always ask him to slow down a bit. That's fine. And but it's his habit, and so this is what he will do. And you can't participate in the weekends, as always, the Dharma Friends. It will be on YouTube, and it's you know, again, I really want to mention how I value the Dharma Friends so, so much for making these teachings available for whenever you want to see them without having to buy them. Because at the moment, maybe it's the same for you. The once they see in the internet that you are interested in these things, you can't imagine how many things I get, you know, workshop for free. Then you click and you want to see what it is. And then it's like 3 sample sessions, and then, but you can sign up, it's still half price, and then it costs $200, $300, $500. So, you know, this is of the Dharma Friends. I mean, the generosity that they practice by making this freely available. Then, of course, freely available doesn't mean you shouldn't give any donation, but only if you want. You know, you can, if you don't want to give donation, that is your, I don't want to say it's your problem, but this is your decision, and then you just take it. It's fine. Nobody will come and control. Nobody will kind of send you a letter and say, hey, you watched so many teachings, where's your donation, blah, 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 this and that. But it's, you know, of course, by making a donation, you practice generosity, which is one of the 6 perfections, and you make it possible so the Dharma Friends can continue in that line, you know, so they're not kind of going, oh, how are we going to pay the visits of the teachers, their plane tickets, these, or the technology or whatever, these kind of things. Okay, so this is, I really want to say thank you again to Leora, who's been chairwoman of this organization for many, many years, and has always been fighting for that, isn't it? Sometimes you had to fight in the Vad, because there's always this fear, you know, when from what, you know, you do an event and then you feel, oh, there's not enough money coming in to cover the costs. But to just calm people down and say, don't worry, if it doesn't come from that side, it will come from another side. You know, I remember one visit when I was in Israel also, it was like somebody came and said like, oh, well, you know, this retreat, and I think it was still in Yechiam. Oh, we won't even be able to cover the cost. So I said, well, we'll see at the end of the visit. But then we had by a shiatsu school, I think it was in Ramat Gan or somewhere, or Ramat Aviv, can't remember where it was. I had quite a few evening talks where many people came, and they gave us the room for free. So then, you know, what we didn't have to pay there, this was, then it was, we were able to cover the cost of the other thing. Yeah. So, but again, you know, from your side, try not to see this as this is free, you know, because it's not so, but then it's just taking and it doesn't make you happy. Now, I don't want to trick you into giving donations, okay? But it is just how the mind works. When we share, when we also want to contribute that this will continue to happen, we're much more happier, and then we become part of the group also, which is a good thing. We feel much more happy. Yeah. You know, when I first came to Israel, and it was Boaz Amichai and me, and we said, okay, let's try it. Let's do just all on donation. Most of the people said, in Israel, this is not going to work. People will not give any money. And the proof is that after how many years now? 20 years, Leora? 21 years, it's 21, because first time I came was in 2000. So in 21 years, it still works, and wonderful teachers come, you know, like high lamas, wonderful scholars come, and the system is still working. So to have this trust is really good. And it's thanks to you guys who are watching and who are making donations. Okay. So it starts the weekend, Leora, of in July, I think, yeah, 3rd or 4th or something.
2nd, I think.
Huh?
I think 2nd.
The 2nd. I thought it was at the beginning, because I have my last talk on the 30th, which is Wednesday.
The first weekend with Geshe Dorje Damdula is 2nd of July.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the first weekend of July, and then the 2nd and the 3rd. Yeah, and then slowly, maybe I might be able to come. From my side, I have overcome a few obstacles. I have the COVID certificate on my telephone. the Swiss one. I'm vaccinated twice, of course. Even though I had the COVID, I still decided to get the vaccination so that it would be clear. And I got the confirmation from my health insurance that if I get sick with COVID in Israel, they would cover it, which apparently the state of Israel, Roni told me that they want that. So this is what I got. Now, all we have to wait is for when the date is, when, you know, if it's possible to come somewhere after the 20th of August, because before I cannot, because of the retreats I have to lead, but that's pretty soon. And then we'll see, you know, we don't have to, then we'll see what we'll do. You know, we can continue on Zoom, or we can do, you know, like maybe smaller groups. I was also thinking, you know, not have big gatherings, but, you know, I go to the north for the people there, I go to the south, I'm in the middle, something like that. We'll see, no hurry. And I'll be available for lunch.
Anila, I need to go.
Yeah,
So-
that's fine, because I know you have things to do. So
Yes,
again,
so
thank you so much, Tom, and all the best. And maybe we'll meet in Israel in person. That would be very
I
nice.
really hope so. And I just want to say that thank you very, very much for giving me the opportunity to practice generosity in hosting this event, these meetings. And also, it was very interesting, and it was very fun to listen to you and to learn. And I learned a lot during this year. So thank you a lot. And thank everyone else who came. And thank you, Noah, for replacing me. And it's all very generous and wonderful.
So Tom, if we have lunch together, it will be on me, okay? I owe you this.
We'll see about that.
No.
Okay.
Please allow me to invite you for lunch, because you did a wonderful job.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, good.
See you.
So have a nice evening, have a good time, and do take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye, Tom. Okay, so we can, if it's okay, we start with a reflection, meditation. I thought we'll do that one that we did a few times already, kind of, I am a good person, because this is the basis to develop love, compassion, bodhicitta, enlightenment, and all this, that we trust our own goodness, and we get, as much as possible, we get in contact with it. This is so important. Yeah, and we need other people to get in contact with it. This is the thing. So, you know, we need people that we spontaneously have an open heart towards them. So that's what we will do now. Okay. So try to sit. I listened to John Kabat-Zinn sing the other day, and he said, try to sit with wakefulness and dignity. How would you express wakefulness and dignity? Dignity is like, you know, don't become all arrogant about being dignified or whatever, but how would you express that with your body? Or just very simple, maybe more simple, awake, but relaxed. How would you express that with the way you are sitting? So that means you have to connect to your body to see whether the body is sitting awake, but totally relaxed. Or if the word relaxed, maybe not so good also, open, fearless, inspired by what you are doing. So close your eyes, and if you are used to meditate with your eyes open, you can leave them open. But really connect with the body. And then feel it. Try to feel that. You know, it's not in the head, the dignity and the being relaxed and the openness and the being awake. Try to experience it by becoming totally into the present, letting go of the past, not planning the future. Very difficult, I do admit. But the moment you are aware of your body, you are in the present. And already that gives you a lot of kind of, I don't know, there's no word for it, because it is an experience. Now, as you breathe in, you're just aware of what's going on in the body. You can have different regions. or the whole body itself. As you breathe out, you think the body becomes bigger, more spacious, more open, not needing to hold any tensions. Because spaciousness is the nature of our mind, and we are tense and closed. We can't experience it. So try to go into the space of spaciousness, not so much to kind of stay in your thoughts and feelings, sensations, whatever. I know this is part of the meditation practice also, but try to go into that spaciousness that allows all these things to arise in it. Again, just try, don't force anything. If you go like, what? It's okay. You know, just think all the thoughts, all the experiences, all the sensations, all the emotions that we have. We need a lot of space for all this to be able to happen. So try to go into that spaciousness. I know it's not easy, but you know, what allows us to feel, to perceive, to think, to experience. It is that spaciousness. And I don't want to put any words on it, just connect with it, be with it. Whenever you get lost in thoughts again, go into the spaciousness where the thoughts arise. So this spaciousness is one aspect of the nature of our mind. The other aspect is its innate or natural goodness. And we need to feel that from time to time, because otherwise we don't trust that this is our nature. And then we identify with the wrong things. So in order to feel that goodness, of course, if you're very experienced, then you don't need other people. We just have like what is called unobjectifying compassion. But for us, this is, I think, a little bit too high, for me anyway. So now just think about somebody that cares about you. And get in contact or experience the feeling of being cared about, being seen, being listened to, valued, or loved. Somebody that just accepts you the way you are, without any conditions. Getting angry at you from time to time, but in general, you can feel that person sees me, hears me, values me. And get in touch with this experience, with the sensation. And let it fill your mind and your body. Not intellectual things here. So very often, quite naturally, we get in touch with our own innate goodness when we think about this person. So try to recognize the goodness in your acts of thought, words, and deeds. These include positive intentions, putting the brakes on our anger, practicing patience, restraining addictive impulses, and extending compassion and helpfulness to others. But also the courage to say the things that need to be said with wisdom, kindness, generosity, and patience. So just remember, when you were in touch with that goodness and it made you act with either body, words, or thoughts. And stay in that experience, just a memory of it. So sense the goodness at the core of your being. It is there inside of everyone, no matter how obscured. A force, a current, a wellspring in our hearts. Then we expand it and we see the goodness in others. By recognizing if we concentrate on the goodness of others, it will help us feel our own. Try to remember even small acts of fairness, kindness, honorable effort in others. And then again, see how you feel when you perceive the kindness, the fairness in others. So then go a bit deeper and sense the inner longings to be decent and loving, to contribute, to help, rather than to harm. This is our nature. Connect with that longing. The longing for good, the longing for peace, not outside peace, peace in ourselves. The longing for patience, wisdom, love, and compassion. Don't spoil it by saying, yeah, but I don't have it. Oh, Just listen to the longing. Because this goodness, this peace, this openness, this spaciousness, this wisdom is our nature. It only has to be discovered. And then dare to think the thought without ifs and buts, without any conditions. I am a good person. Just give over to goodness. Don't fight it. And slowly, slowly, this part of our nature becomes the animating force in our life. In tricky situations or relationships, all of a sudden, very spontaneously, almost effortlessly, we become aware of the closed heart. We stop for a moment before we react. And we take the wisdom and we think, being a good person, what is an appropriate reaction here? And again, and again, and again. It's crazy that we have to convince ourselves that our nature is goodness. So as much as possible, nourish that by just thinking, I am a good person. Okay, thank you. Would you like to say something or like to ask something about what we just did? Just to remind you, this is a discussion group, it's not a teaching, although sometimes it sounds a bit like that.
For me, it was so hard.
Netta. Okay.
I was drawn, how do you say, fished from this very hectic atmosphere. My daughter is sick, my mom, my this, my that. It was so hard.
That's okay.
Not to react outside and to connect.
Mm-hmm. So then, you know, not to do complicated things like this, just to, when you're breathing in, breathing out, make space for all of it. And it was Kadru Rinpoche who, she gave a very good example, which I liked very, very much. And that image helps me, but you might find another image that helps you. So she said, if you know, our mind is like a crazy horse, Actually, I can tell you a Tibetan story also about this. Our mind is like a crazy horse, like a horse who is wild. So you put the horse into a small box, like the meditation, you know, with the breath. Oh, it's like it will rebel. It doesn't want to stay there. Whereas if you let the horse out into a corral, it has a lot of space, but still there's the fence of still mindfulness, knowing what's going on. Yeah, knowing that you are distracted, knowing that you can't keep here, knowing that you're not in the space, knowing that you are having all these thoughts, then slowly, slowly, the horse will calm down.
Yeah, this is the most important moments to do that, and it's the most difficult.
Yeah, but again, don't do it because you want to calm down, because then already there's a pressure on you. I have to calm down, you know. Just do it for the sake of doing it. Take a few minutes to stop and to think, okay, I let the horse go free. You want to think about daughter, parents, crazy world, la la la. Okay, go ahead and think about this. Yeah, let the mind free, but still with a doses of awareness, but not controlling awareness. Just looking awareness, you know, awareness to know, okay, what can happen if I have these thoughts? Nothing can happen. It's okay, just thoughts. Even if there's negative thoughts, the moment you start to see them, then you allow them to dissolve also. Otherwise, they hijack you a bit if you want to suppress them. I still think we should hire a help for you, Netta.
What kind of help?
A help that cooks for you, that cleans.
The kitchen issue.
A help who does these chores, because if we have so much to do, and of course we're overwhelmed, and of course we're stressed. You know, that you can have the most wonderful teachings on emptiness, but your daughter is sick and crying, your mother needs you, maybe this is not it's not personal, yeah, maybe there's not enough money to pay the bills, maybe because you're so stressed it's difficult to help your patients. I mean, how can you be in emptiness? You cannot. Yeah. So don't force yourself. Don't, you know, this is so important that we don't put pressure on us. That when we sit down to meditate, we're not doing it to feel better.
But you said, if you will take the kitchen from me, where will I practice patience?
But again, you know, Netta, are you in a position to practice patience at the moment?
This moment specifically is very hard, but generally, yes.
Generally, yes. Yeah, I think you have natural compassion and you have natural humor also, and you have a tendency also to see both sides of the whole situation also, and you have a lot of Dharma knowledge. You have a lot of natural Dharma knowledge. So yeah. So, but maybe, you know, if I keep saying Netta needs a cook, maybe at one point somebody will show up and say, okay, once a week I'll come and cook for you. You see, this should be the most natural thing in the world. Somebody has time, somebody needs the thing, and we just offer. You know, but we always wait until people ask us, because maybe we are afraid that we're going to get rejected or something like that. It's so nice to be able to help when you have time. Yeah, and it's so natural, I think, should be, you know. But then, you know, people go like, oh, you with your helper syndrome. I said, but I have time to help. You know, somebody needs help, I offer it. They want it, fine. They don't want it, it's also fine. And it can be anything. Yeah. Anything that I know I can do, I'm not going to offer things that I cannot do also. You know, if somebody asks me to look after their 3 days old baby, then I say, no, thank you very much. You know, if I'm alone with that small little thing, I don't know how to do this. Yeah. Then I get scared. So then I say, no, I can't do this. But, you know, having kids that are maybe 8, 9 years old, and the mother says, it's okay if they watch TV, can you just stay with them? That's fine. This I can do. you know, watching TV with them and making comments and laughing and this and that. So like that. Okay, so yeah, it's hard. It's, you know, we have, as you say, Netta, we have moments where it's hard. So it's important that you're not forcing yourself. Yeah, and you are aware that it's hard. And we use this what they call self-compassion, you know, to connect with the feeling, shit, this is difficult, you know, and we go like, you know, how does it feel? How does it feel when I'm in such a situation? What is it that I would need right now? Not even, you know, finding it and then giving it to you. Just the question is compassion. When somebody's suffering, you also ask, what do you need? Yeah. Or you ask yourself, what does this person need? What can I give? And that already makes a little bit more space. And then the third step is like, I'm not the only one. You know, shared humanity, samsara. Yeah, it's samsara. But you can only say this as in order for people to relax. You can only say this to somebody who really knows what samsara is, who has good Buddhist knowledge, because otherwise it seems like you have absolutely no understanding what they're going through. You know, when you say to somebody, never heard about dukkha, like about suffering, the causes of suffering, you can end the suffering by the past, and you tell them, yeah, what do you want? This is nature, that's normal. You know, it's like, very often it helps actually. You know, same as with the kids, you know, the kids make noise, somebody comes and complains, and then one tries to remind that person who's coming to complain, hey, come on, they're children. It's normal for children to make noise. It helps them to relax, you know. The moment we see it's normal, we relax. Because when we say it's normal, it means it can't be changed. Yeah. A little bit like this. But thank you very much for sharing, you know, because otherwise everybody always behaves as if they're perfect meditators, totally in the spaciousness, having understood emptiness, like this. Because you're sharing that this is difficult makes others aware, I'm not the only one for this is difficult, but I just don't dare to say, but I'm not the only one. Yeah. So if you go, by the way, if you go and see a meditation master, which I am not, but if you go and see a master or, you know, a lama or whatever, don't tell the master all the good things that you are good at. They don't want to hear this. They want to hear where your problems are so that they can give you antidotes for these problems. Yeah. Otherwise, for the Tibetans, this telling I can do this and this I'm really good at and this I've understood, for the Tibetans is total waste of time, they think. They slowly start to understand as Westerners that we need to tell the master what I'm already good at, because we're afraid that he's not going to like us if we are a total failure. But if we say that this is difficult, you know what you just said, a master would probably, the answer of a master would be fantastic. You see the nature of samsara. You see the nature of your, if you're human, samsaric existence. It's on this basis that then you can develop renunciation, a wish to get out of it. And that makes you look, oi, what are the causes in order to get out of samsara? I need to abandon or let go of negative emotions and my negative actions, like this. You see, it can also be a hindrance if your Dharma practice works too well, and then you, every time you sit down to meditate, you feel as if you just smoked a joint, you know, totally open, totally relaxed, and this and that, but you still haven't understood emptiness. Then you get lost in this, and you get attached to it. And when you're sick, or when, you know, a crisis comes and it doesn't work anymore, your whole practice will fall apart. Yeah. So it's a bit like what I said at the beginning, why it would be good if you could listen to Geshe Dorje Damdru. You listen with the thought, you know, I have to understand, you know, deep down we think, because I'm so intelligent, I have to understand what he's saying. If I don't understand, he's not a good teacher. Then you might even have the illusion and saying, what Ani Losang says, this I understand. Yes, of course. Why? Because it's so simple, because I can't be complicated. This is why you understand what I'm saying, you know? And so you might even get that view, that it's better to listen to me than to somebody like this where you don't understand. And but it doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means it's very complex and it's very complicated. And it's so different from how we think. The whole teaching on emptiness. It is so different. You know, when the Buddha says the misconceptions that we have, like there's 4 big ones. Yeah, when he says it's like we see impermanent things as being permanent. This we understand intellectually very quickly. This is why we suffer, because we get attached. Yeah, we see. This is why we get disappointed all the time. We look for happiness where there's no happiness. This also needs a little bit more time, but we also understand. Meaning in our pleasures. Yeah, they are kind of infused, pervaded by suffering, because when the pleasure itself is not suffering, the pleasure is pleasant, but we get attached to it and we get dependent on it, and it finishes very quickly, and it needs a lot of conditions to work. So this is why it is kind of in the nature of suffering. Pleasure is not suffering, but it leads to suffering if we don't understand its nature. So that's the second one. We look for happiness where it is not. We look for happiness, good status, financial security, good government, wonderful country like Switzerland, a lot of friends, good reputation, high status. I think I already said that, health, all this, but it's not there. It can be a condition for contentment and happiness, but it's not the cause, you know? You can get totally stressed if you have a good reputation, if people have high esteem for you, because then you have to perform well every time. It's so stressful. If people think you're a total zero, you know, you fail, so what? Yeah, of course, she's a total zero. She's total zero. People will still like you because they have no expectations. Yeah. Financial security, so-called financial security, can become a total stress when the stock market goes crazy. Yeah. If you don't have much money, well, who cares? Yeah. Okay. A lot of friends can be stressful because they want your attention, because otherwise they won't be friends anymore. A bit like this. Yeah. I'm not saying you should now throw away your status, your money, and your friends. I'm not saying that. But it's, you know, there can be a condition for happiness, but not the cause. If they are the cause for happiness, it's always happiness. That means it's a cause. Yeah. Like patience is always a cause that leads to happiness. Wisdom, compassion, love always leads to happiness. That's the cause, not just a condition. The rest is just conditions. Okay, my dears, we should, it's my fault. We should get on with the text because I want to finish in these 3 times the 6th chapter. So my high ambition for today was that we do 10 verses and we get up to verse 120 so that we can finish then in the next 2 times. Okay, so the homework was that you when you disrespect somebody, that you tax a bad person, that you try to dissolve, you know, not to contact the person or not to do anything with the person, but to try to dissolve the disrespect. Yeah, but it was this verse here where the ego says, this one that we don't want to follow, but always tries to kind of push us into doing negative things. That he says, why should my enemy be venerated? He has no intention for me to practice patience. Because the previous verses was, but without enemy, we cannot practice patience. So the ego says, yeah, and then it says, that's why we have to respect these people. And then the ego says, yeah, but it's not his intention. And then we thought, like, then the clever one says, but then why would we appreciate? Maybe venerate is not the right word. Yeah. Why would we appreciate the Dharma? Because the Dharma also has no intention to benefit me. Absolutely not. It's just the Dharma. We'll come to that. Maybe it becomes a little bit clearer. So did anybody try to do that when you feel disrespect for somebody, to dissolve it? Okay, good thing we're not having, you know, marks and exams.
Anila, can I say something?
Yes, Joyce, please.
I just want to understand well what I feel today, because today I have a very bad experience and I got so down, so down.
Mm-hmm.
It happened that I have my ex-boyfriend, and I thought that I'm ready to because I'm looking for a job and I'm working as a cleaner, and he called me to clean their house. So when I came there, I said I tried to practice myself that okay, I'm ready. So I tried together, and then when I get in, and the lady is, I know her very well also, and she's a Filipina also, and she tried to tell me what to do, and I got so insulted, and I got so hurt that what kind of situation I get in now. I felt that I'm not ready, but I keep it on myself. I continue working, and I let her to tell me what to do. But when I get home, I feel so bad.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, but you see, it's not just the lady's fault. It's our own fault to believe that how these treat us, that this is true, and this is absolutely what she says is right, you know. And I had to. This is not to insult you, Israeli guys, but I also had to get used a little bit to your quite rough treatment of other people. I mean, I don't mean you personally, but in general, you know, when I see how sometimes how disrespectful one can treat somebody else is one thing. And I think I told you when I was giving a talk to these psychoanalysts in, you know, in that school there, and we talked about the meaningful life, okay? And so they were kind of, how to say, they were kind of, you know, I said, well, you shouldn't be doubtful that you're leading a meaningful life, you with your, you know, fantastic education and, you know, and all the things you do. Joyce, I will put you on mute, okay? Okay, then, so I said, how would you feel, you know, because you have the conditions in order to study. You have the intelligence, you have the possibility, you have the money, you have the schools, so you can have this wonderful profession as a psychoanalyst, because it's much better than psychotherapist, isn't it? You know, they're all, I have to say, they're all a bit arrogant about what they're doing. I hope nobody's listening to me from their school. A little bit, not all of them, some of them, okay? So it was not COVID then. So I said, what about if your life would be in such a way you had no other choice, but for example, to fill up shelves in supermarket? Would you find that this would be a meaningful life? So everybody said no. Okay, so I said, okay, imagine if all these people who fill up the shelves in the supermarket go on strike for just 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we would die of hunger. If then I said, and then I was really, I wanted to, I said, if you go on strike, nobody will die. You see, this is the thing. We kind of make these categories. Being a cleaner is like, yeah. Being a psychoanalyst, this is like, boo. But, you know, it depends whether you have a good heart or not. And so how to deal with these situations, Joyce, is like to be proud of what you're doing. I know that society thinks that cleaning is like a lowly job. It is not, you know, especially when you're stressed. And you don't have time to clean the house, and you have enough money to pay somebody for it, then you should be so respectful to that person, because this person is doing the job you hate doing, but you have enough money to pay the person. How can you not be respectful? But how many people know that? How many people live after that? You know, so many people go like, oh, but I pay her. Well, you know, if she wouldn't, if, you know, do you think people choose these jobs? They do them because they have no choice, or the people who grow your vegetables also that you eat. I mean, come on, it's low paid, it's very hot outside, it's terrible. So we should be, it's towards all people that we should be respectful. So Joyce, you don't have to feel bad about this, it's okay. You know, I love it when people come and clean the house here. I actually help them. I do the things they don't like to do, cleaning the windows. I did like yesterday or the day before yesterday, because I appreciate that they do the rest. Okay? Don't take it personally. This is when somebody is treating somebody else in such a way, it's a very unhappy person. They're kind of letting out their frustration and stress on somebody else that they think that they have a right to do that. And it seems to be a little bit cultural in Israel to do these things. Have you noticed that also? Not in you, I'm not accusing you, but have you noticed it also? Yeah. But anyway, we come to these things. So Joyce, you can, what will help you is that you dissolve your disrespect for this other person, and to see also, you know, we think they do it on purpose, it's their intention. No, it's like children making noise. You know, there's people, they don't know any better, because they themselves are unhappy, and then this is what they do. Okay? I mean, if people listen to you now, maybe you can affirm what I'm saying. If the people are here now and they listen to you, how many of you can just raise your hand and be honest though, how many of you respect Joyce, that in front of everybody, she is showing her vulnerability? How many of you would dare to do that?
Joyce, you are a hero, really. You are a hero to open it like this. It's.
I think so. It needs a lot of courage to say these things. So try to honor yourself for that. I had the courage to say it.
And also, people behave according to the level of their awareness. Somebody who behaved like this with you, it means she's not living in awareness, and so she's not nice. She's not aware. So what she said, it's the way she thinks. I don't care too much about my thoughts, so why should I care about thoughts of somebody else?
Yeah, right.
What she said.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to my speaker. It just went off. Anyway, maybe it works again. So yeah, it's true. So again, you know, don't take it. It's really important that you don't take it personally, Joyce. Is that okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Anila.
Yeah. And yeah. So let's look at the verses now. Maybe there's something there in there that can help us also. I don't know if it's my speaker going dee or it's somebody's telephone. Anyway, mystery. Okay, so 110. But surely my enemy is not to be venerated, for he intends to cause me harm. But how could patience be practiced if, like doctors, people always strove to do me good? Okay, so again, you know, it comes with this argument. Patience, maybe it is that thing that goes t-t-t-t. So
many times when the battery is about to be finished, so it tells you.
If it still goes t-t-t-t, then it wasn't that thing. Anyway, so if, you know, patience is one of the 6 perfections. If we want to attain enlightenment, if we want
Anila, you are on mute.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
The
Anyway,
Bluetooth doesn't have battery anymore. It's dead.
you think it's that one?
Yeah, and that's why it made the tu.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll fill it up. I'll be compassionate to it and I'll fill it up. Okay, so if we want to attain enlightenment, we need to practice patience. We need to practice generosity, ethical conduct, patience, enthusiasm, concentration, and wisdom. And in order to practice patience, we need people who harm us, whether we want or not. Otherwise, how can we practice patience? So, you know, if somebody is trying to help you on the path and on the way, like the teachers, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, then we cannot practice patience. Okay, this is what, but we need these people. Yeah, also in order to develop love and compassion, we need somebody who is not happy to develop love for them. Yeah, I'm not talking about this attached love where it comes spontaneously when somebody's kind to you. In order to develop compassion, we need somebody who suffers. This is why we need them. Okay, we need people who suffer. So how can we cannot practice or train compassion with the Buddhas because they don't suffer. All right, is that kind of clear? Yeah, where it says, yeah, okay, but still, if you do want to attain enlightenment, of course, if you just want to have an easy life, then try to avoid them. But if you want to attain enlightenment, like all the Buddhas did, then you have to, they need to be there in your life, whether you want or not. Thus, since patient acceptance is produced in dependence upon one with a very hateful mind, like this lady, that person should be worthy of veneration, just like the sacred Dharma, because he or she is the cause of patience. But sometimes the objects are too high, like, you know, like for Joyce now, this woman, it's far too high, you know, because you do take it personally and because you are not valuing yourself. This is why other people can do that to you, you know. We are paying too much attention what other people think of us, how they treat us. And we expect them to be nice to us. Well, we can expect it, but you know, it doesn't always happen. But then we need to practice patience with objects that are more easy to practice patience with, not with somebody as difficult as that. Yeah. Joyce, would you have an easier object to practice with? You know, somebody who's not so difficult. And then I don't know, you know, I mean, this we would have to talk about personally. You know, are you still going to work there? Are you not going to work there? It's like, you know, there's many things you can think, but it, you know, can't do it here because it takes too much time. But if I do come to Israel, then we can discuss it personally, these things. But it's difficult. It's difficult. The best thing I can tell you, don't take it personal. It is because the person is confused, suffering, and as Nahum says, has a very low level of awareness what she is doing. That means there's not even an intention, you know. Many people are not aware of what they're doing because it's habit, it's culture. It's like, oh, it's okay to treat people that way. Okay, I just continue. If you have objections or questions, then you say something. Therefore, the Mighty One has said that the field of sentient beings is similar to a Buddha field, for many who have pleased them have thereby reached perfection. Have you ever heard of the word merit field in the Buddhist kind of Tibetan Buddhist tradition? If you practice with Geshe-ma Kelsang Wangmo, in general, you do the 7 limbs before you start. Can you remember? Do you remember the practice of the 7 limbs?
Chapter 2, 3.
You know, reverently I prostrate in my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of offerings every offered, like actually offered and imagined. I declare all my negative actions committed since beginningless time. I rejoice in the merit of all holy beings. Please remain until samsara end and teach the Dharma. For until samsara ends, I dedicate all the merits to the great enlightenment. These are the 7 limbs. So you do this with a merit field, means you visualize all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas that you honor. I prostrate with body, speech, and mind. I make every type of offerings, actual and imagined, to the merit field. I confess all my negative actions to all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas without hiding anything. I rejoice in the merits of the Buddhas because they have left samsara behind, they have become Buddhas. And then I implore, please stay until samsara ends and teach the Dharma. And at the end, the dedication, I dedicate that everybody becomes a Buddha. So that's a merit field that we visualize, that we think, I'm making these offerings to the Buddhas because we respect them, we appreciate them, yeah? We're grateful that we are grateful. This is what we should actually, we should be grateful to the Buddhas that they did this hard work of finishing the path, getting liberated from samsara, not being under the control of negative emotions anymore, so that they can give us perfect methods. If they wouldn't have done it, we wouldn't know how to do that. We wouldn't be interested in developing patience with somebody who has a pain in the neck, isn't it? We would just go away from that person and we wouldn't see them as valid. Yeah, so that's the merit field. Now, Shantideva says, gosh, you know, it's getting worse and worse here. He says the sentient beings who harm us is similar or the same as a Buddha field, meaning they will give us the same fruit, because it is said, you know, like karma, powerful objects. So your teacher and the Buddhas become very powerful objects. Also your parents, to make offerings to follow their advice and so on. Yeah, so that creates a lot of positive karma or a lot of positive energy. So now I forgot what I wanted to say. I have to look at the verse again, sorry. That the field of sentient beings is similar to a Buddha field for me. So, okay, so practicing with the merit field, meaning with the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, it becomes one of the causes to attain full awakening. We create the causes to be able to be liberated from samsara and attain enlightenment, okay? So the fruit, that's the fruit, that's what the fruit will be. This is why, you know, traditionally, a normal Tibetan Buddhist group looks like what you see behind me. Statues, tankas, altars, offerings, everything very clean, not because we want to impress somebody, but because we value, we honor, we venerate, and we appreciate the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. This is to show our affection towards them. Yeah. So it's not, I know for Jewish people it's very difficult to accept that part, because you learn that you should not bow to idols, isn't it? But the way the Buddhists kind of do prostrations or make offerings to these statues is that we try to see the actual Buddha or the actual merit field. And then, you know, the karma is not coming from the Buddha. The karma is coming from my own mind, because it's very easy for me to appreciate the Buddhas. It's very easy for me to do these offerings on the altar, because anyway, at the end, we eat it ourselves. But that should not be the attitude. So, so they become a cause for full awakening. So the fruit will be that you will be out of samsara and you will have a mind that is omniscient, full of love and compassion for all sentient beings, and having skillful means to help all other sentient beings, having absolutely no hate, no fear, and being totally present all the time. That will be the fruit. Now, the person who harms you and the person who forces you to practice patience, what will be the fruit of that?
Enlightenment.
Exactly. So that's where they are equal. They are not equal in intention, they are not equal in quality, but they are equal in what they give me. That's why we should respect them. And you know, if somebody treats you in such a really unpleasant way, like this lady, just think of them as sick people and people who will definitely suffer in the future because of that. And you shouldn't think of this like, ha, 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 then they will learn, because out of suffering, we don't learn naturally. You know, if suffering would make us wiser and more compassionate people, we would have a wonderful world. But we don't, because suffering creates aggression or depression, or you know, something that is not wanted. And this is why, and so this is why we can go quickly through these verses, because basically all these verses say the same thing. It's just like different arguments why we should respect or these people that harm us, because they allow us to practice patience. Therefore, in our life, they are as valuable as the Buddhas. And when you see somebody who is trying to hurt or harm you or treat you in a disrespectful way, when we see them as valuable, they lose their power over us, of being able to hurt us. You see? When we think that they should be different, they should behave differently, then they can hurt us. When we see them as valuable, then they become valuable, and then they lose their power over us and they cannot hurt us anymore. But it doesn't mean you put yourself in a dangerous situation where people kind of can hurt you, and you see they actually seem to have a lot of pleasure seeing when you suffer. You see, this is it. When a mind is unhappy, then it creates aggression, either towards yourself or towards others. So the first duty is that we try to make this person happy, actually, you know. But when she can influence you like in such a terrible way that you burst into tears, then of course it's like we cannot make the person happy. Or, now I know it sounds a bit perverse, so Joyce, maybe don't listen to what I'm saying. Or you can say, since I'm a Bodhisattva, and maybe it makes her happy that she made me cry now. So may she be happy and find better causes for happiness than to make other people cry. You see, again, we start to shape our mind to go into a little bit of different direction. Now, of course, you know, another way would be that to tell this woman off. I don't know, but it's not the Bodhisattva way. If you think that by shouting at her and by kind of hurting her feelings, that it will make her change her behavior, not just if you think, if you are sure that it will make her change her behavior, by all means do it. By all means shout at her and scream at her and abuse her. But we don't know. And try not to do it, even if you are courageous, because that's not really courageous, getting angry and abusing others, you know, because then we regret at the end, and you definitely lose the job. I mean, this is another thing. Yeah. If we could, you know, not even the Buddha can change the behavior of other people. Not even the Dalai Lama can change the behavior of the Chinese government. So who are we thinking that we can change the behavior of somebody else? Okay, I don't know if this helps, but maybe it does. So you see, the Buddhas that are the Buddha field or the merit field, they have attained Buddhahood by respecting and venerating people who harmed them. This is how they have achieved the goal, and this is how they can teach us now, and how they can give us these methods now. As Buddha qualities are gained from the sentient beings and the conquerors alike. So why do I not respect them in the same way I respect the conquerors? So the conquerors are the Buddhas, yeah? So you see, I mean, when you have high esteem, I think, for the Dalai Lama, for people that teach you and all this, yeah? And we see that we are dependent on them for our practice, but we forget that we're also dependent on normal, ordinary sentient beings for practicing generosity, ethical conduct, and patience. We need these people, whether we want or not. So the respect for people comes very, very naturally in a way, like for teachers and all this. Comes very natural, doesn't it? Because we start to understand how we need these instructions. But that we need people who harm us also on this path to enlightenment, this doesn't come naturally. And then we don't value them. But again, valuing these people doesn't mean you kind of let them do whatever they want to do to you. You have to kind of use skillful means. And very often with somebody who is treating us in such a way, try to find out her cause for her unhappiness. And when you can see that, like, for example, maybe her children don't respect her. Maybe her husband treats her in that way. Maybe her boss treats her in that way. You know, then we start to understand. And then, you know, when we can give her maybe respect, not out of fear, because that's what we all like. We all like to be appreciated and respected. Then maybe she will relax and she will see your qualities, and she doesn't see you just as a cleaning woman, but somebody who makes her happy. Yeah. When you work in an old people's home, it's much easier to do this because we see how these people are confused. And sometimes old people can be so cruel, you know, and accuse the people who are working there of stealing and of, which they do sometimes, I also say. And old people very often get mistreated by people working there. Why? Because they are so horrible. But, you know, they have very little control over their mind. So when we start to see this, it's easier to work with these people as an object of patience because we see they don't have control over their mind. Whereas if it's somebody who is, you know, 30, 40, 50, and just through some conditions has enough money to pay a cleaning woman and then doesn't respect her, it's like, it's very difficult to respect these people, isn't it? It's very difficult to work with, to apply these methods of Shantideva to these people. Now, you know, then he kind of 140, he says what I just said anyway. Of course, they are not similar in the quality of their intentions, because the teachers really want to help you. Somebody who abuses you doesn't want to help you reach enlightenment. Yeah, but only the fruits that they produce are similar or are the same. So it is in this respect that they have excellent qualities and are therefore said to be equal to the Buddhas, meaning the harmers and the Buddhas in terms of what they allow us to get, to gain, which is full awakening. In that term, they are equal. So we're not saying they're good people. Nobody says that. So whatever merit comes from venerating one with a loving mind is due to the eminence of sentient beings. And in the same way, the merit of having faith in Buddha is due to the eminence of Buddha. It's a bit difficult to understand, isn't it? Let me see the notes. Okay, so one who loves, whatever merit comes from venerating one with a loving mind. So one with a loving mind are those people who have loving compassion and loving kindness and compassion for everyone. Yeah, we honor these people, we venerate these people. It's very easy for us to kind of respect them. So making offerings in such a way reveals the high rank of living beings. So by the way, you know, the one who loves, Geshe Tenzin Zopa, he says it refers to practitioners on the 4th level of concentration. Meaning when we offer somebody who is doing a lot of good in the world, it is said because of the power of the object, it is said it creates more merit than when we just, you know, give a friend a present because we want to be loved, okay? Because we offer it out of appreciation for their qualities that we want to have ourselves. So that means we appreciate the qualities, then it's easier for us to get it. When we are jealous of somebody that has qualities, we will never get these qualities because we're jealous. Yeah. Whereas when we make offerings to somebody that has qualities that we want, it is easier for us to acquire these qualities. Okay, so why do we put them up so high? Because of the work they have done for sentient beings, beings that are difficult or suffering just like us. And because of the difficult and suffering beings, this is why we have Buddhas. This is how a Buddha comes about. Nobody is born as a Buddha. One has to create the causes, and one of these causes are the 6 perfections, and one of these 6 perfections is patience. Yeah, so they have done it thanks to difficult people, because otherwise also they wouldn't have been able to practice patience. So that's why, again, you know, living beings who are not enlightened yet and Buddhas who are enlightened, they have the same rank, because one makes it possible for the other to become, to get the fruit or to become fully awakened, fully enlightened. Therefore, they are asserted to be equal. Again, you know, same thing. In the share they have in establishing Buddha qualities. But so we need loving kindness in order to become a Buddha, and we need patience to become a Buddha. And in order to practice patience, we need people who harm us. But none of them are equal in good qualities. With the Buddhas who are boundless oceans of excellence. So don't make the mistakes thinking that this lady that employed Joyce has the same qualities as a Buddha. She has not, but she will be able, thanks to her, to get the same qualities. I know it's a bit difficult to accept that, but when we think about this, when we are calm and we don't have such a pain in the neck person in front of us, then we see the reasoning behind it. Even if the 3 realms were offered, it would be insufficient in paying veneration to those few beings in whom a mere share of good qualities of the unique assemblage of excellent appears. Oh, this is a bit complicated, but what it means is that even if we offer the whole world to somebody who has interest in developing bodhicitta, it would be nothing to the, you know, it would not be enough offer all the things in the world to offer to such a person. So that's us. We become very valuable people to be kind to and to make offerings to, because we have interest in generating and developing bodhicitta. So this is very good to hear, isn't it? What do you think? Huh? So Pema Churton says, of course, the enlightened beings have far more merit and awareness than we do, but even the smallest bit of merit or awareness makes us worthy of unlimited offerings. That means people offer to us create a lot of positive karma because we have interest in bodhicitta. Even the smallest inkling of bodhicitta, a trace of willingness to tread the bodhisattva path, makes us as a powerful object to receive offerings and praise as the Buddha. Isn't that wonderful? Huh? What do you think? Are you totally speechless? Or do I not hear do I not hear you anymore because of my crazy speakers here?
Anila, I thought it's different, less positive. I understood it, but maybe wrongly. That because we make troubles for others, so we are the cause for them to practice
also
patience.
Also,
because we're not.
Also, but that's also true. We can also think like that, but we're not going around harming others on purpose, because we can also generate aggression in them, and then they create negative karma. Whereas if they make offerings to us, then they create anyway positive karma. Okay? Because this is a very, very dangerous argument. Oh, but I am such an impossible person because I make it possible for other people to practice patience. This is dangerous. because then, you know, we don't care anymore what we do to other people. But it's true, what you're saying is true. It's just looking at it from another side. If you feel very guilty about harming people, and you don't do it on purpose because you are overcome by your habits, then you can think like this, because that will make you more relaxed about not being able to be pleasant with other people. You see what I mean?
We don't need to.
But if it goes into having even a more bad conscience or feeling ashamed or unhappy that you made them aggressive, don't think like this. Yeah, sorry, Nita.
I guess we don't need to make any effort to harm. We're just harming anyhow. It's not.
Yeah, but we feel bad about it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then we feel guilty, and then we feel ashamed, and then we harm even more because we're not happy. So then we have to this again. That's why we started this day. We started with connecting to our basic goodness. Israel, help me. Connecting to our basic goodness.
Yes, but
come on, encourage them.
I think that for me, I always try not to harm, but it's not always. I not always succeed.
Yeah, we don't succeed. We are ordinary people, like children who make noise. We are human. We still harm. Sometimes even, you know, not happy that we're harming, but totally careless. But at least, you know, we have this awareness that we feel bad about it and we want to change our behavior. This is such a wonderful thing. This Shantideva, I think he included this verse here because it is so difficult. The other verses are so difficult. And we need to be happy about ourselves to be able to respect others. You know, we need to be able to, actually, maybe that's why. We need to be able to respect ourselves even when we do negative actions, so that we can also respect others when they do negative actions. Right. And this is why he says, come on, relax. You have an interest in bodhicitta. You become a wonderful object of offering for others, just to encourage ourselves. We're not as bad as we think we are. Israel.
Yes. In a way, it's like, you know, in Hebrew you say, what's come first, the egg or the chicken?
Yeah, right.
So, look, if I harm somebody and then I know I harmed them, but in a way I say, okay, I did a good job because maybe because of my action, this guy or this somebody will be a Buddha one day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but I mean, look, don't do it too much.
Exactly.
Because what you will do, you will praise yourself doing wrong.
Exactly.
So this is a very, very tricky, you are in a tricky situation, you know?
Exactly.
You can't say, okay, I did it. I'm sorry I did it, really. I'm very sorry because I felt I did something wrong, but in a way I can say, okay, I will never do it again because it's a very bad action. But underneath there is something that say, okay, maybe it will help him.
Yeah.
But I won't do it again.
Exactly. So if we can combine these two attitudes, that would be great.
Yes.
Exactly. So that we don't feel ashamed and, you know, feel guilty and all this, because guilt and shame, nowhere in the Buddhist teachings talks about guilt and shame. So don't use guilt and shame to make progress on this path. Yeah. But the confidence to say, this is bad. I recognize I did this action. This is not a good action. It's not helpful, neither for me nor for the other. And even if it kind of helps them to practice patience, I will not do it again. Yeah, like this. Yeah. Okay, so we look at the other verse again so that we can stop in time. Oh, and now is already time. So it's just a summary, actually, of this whole thing here. Thus, sentient beings have a share in giving rise to the supreme Buddha qualities. Surely it is correct to venerate or appreciate them, you know, with all their bad behavior, whatever, as they are similar in merely disrespect. Oh, there's funny English here. Let me see what Geshe Tenzin's opposite. A share in bringing forth the supreme state of Buddhahood is thus possessed by everyone. So everybody can contribute to our enlightenment. The ones who harm us, the ones who help us, you know, the ones that we can make offerings to, whatever. This demonstrates the reason why they are the proper object of my reference. Okay. Then the last one. Furthermore, what way is there to repay the Buddhas who grant immeasurable benefit and who befriend the world without pretension other than by pleasing sentient beings? You see, the Buddhas, their attitude is to help all sentient beings to be free of all suffering. So for the Buddhas, all the sentient beings are like children. So if we harm them, we make offerings to the Buddhas, we venerate the Buddhas, we make prostrations to the Buddhas, we praise the Buddhas, but at the same time, we harm sentient beings without caring whether we harm them or not, is like giving offerings to parents and at the same time harming their children. Do you think the parents are happy about our offering or that we praise them? You think so? No, isn't it? Netta, if somebody praises you and says, what a wonderful person you are, so intelligent and so skillful and la 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 and this and that, and at the same time harms your children, would you be happy about the praise?
No.
No, exactly. So this is why, you know, we want to make the Buddhas happy because we see how much we owe to them, not because of that they love us, not because, but out of appreciation, gratitude, because we owe so much to the Buddhas. We owe our enlightenment to the Buddhas at one point. So the best way to make them happy is by not harming sentient beings, which are their children. That's the argument here. The best way you can please your masters if you live in harmony in your Dharma group, in your job, this and that. Even if all the others don't want to be in harmony, but you can still work on not getting angry. But without pushing yourself, be gentle with yourself. If it's not possible, if you can move away from that person, move away. Okay? Okay. So then next time we continue with 120 and we try to go until 130. Homework, what kind of homework do you want to do? Try to again, you know, I think we did this already once, to really appreciate the presence of other beings in our life. So first we connect or we experience how it feels, the ones where it comes naturally. And you try to keep holding that feeling so that it can wire in the brain. You know, so it can get stable in the brain. The appreciation of others, you know, not, oh, I don't need anybody. Not this kind of illusory independence kind of attitude. We are not independent. We cannot survive alone. Yeah. So then connect with the appreciation you have for people that when it comes naturally. And then to think, wow, I could have such a feeling, as Shantideva says, for everybody, for people who harm me, for people who help me, for people who don't care about me, for people that I'm a total zero or nobody or not existent. And then use, you know, this feeling of appreciation. You look at the person, you don't have to say anything. You look at the person and just say, thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being there. Or, you know, words that work for you, don't use mine. Until you get the same feeling of appreciation for where it comes spontaneously. Because we do create these experiences, these feelings through thoughts, believe it or not, you know. And once they are stable, once it has wired in the brain, that's it. Then we don't need the thoughts anymore. Is that because that's a nice homework, because it will make you happy. Yeah. So first do it with people when it comes spontaneously, naturally, and then try to expand it on people that you feel a bit cold towards them. Don't do the enemy yet, maybe too difficult. I mean, if you want to try the enemy, of course do, but first maybe do the ones that you feel a bit cold towards, you know, you don't care about them. Because the 6th chapter is the preparation for then doing Tonglen in the 8th chapter. And for that, we need equanimity. And this is how you create equanimity, by seeing, I need each person to attain enlightenment. The ones who are kind to me, the ones who harm me, the ones who don't care about me. I need all of them. Because otherwise, how can I develop bodhicitta? Because it's about wanting all beings to be happy. Therefore, I need all beings. I cannot exclude some. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Are you happy with the homework? Develop appreciation. First with those where it comes spontaneously, then with the more neutral ones. Okay. Okay? So we dedicate all the positive energy that we have generated this evening together, first of all, because it is important for this coronavirus to really disappear. Second, for the Israeli government to have harmony, to work well together, and also the people, like the people who are not in the government, to cooperate and to work towards peace. This is, we should not forget to dedicate. Every day you have to dedicate for that. So that finally, you know, your beautiful country can have more happiness, less suffering, less conflict, less fighting. Yeah, okay? And then, of course, we expand it outside and we dedicate for the happiness of all sentient beings. And then may I be able to contribute to that. May I become a Buddha very, very quickly. So I have the skills and the means how to deal with people who want to harm me, so that they stop harming me, and I know how to do that. This is the Buddhas, that they can also go on this beautiful Bodhisattva path. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Anila.
Sorry,
Thank you, Anila.
sorry
Waiting to
about the
see you in
loud.
Israel.
Thank you.
So I will charge it, because it's so tiny.
Anila, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Joyce.
appreciate it very much. Thank you, everyone.
Just relax, Joyce. You are a good person. Here, everybody loves you. And, you know, so
Thank
one person
you.
doesn't like you, so what? It's just one person. There's no talk about it. Here you have
Thank you.
12 people liking you, so that's okay, loving you. So that's okay. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
you're very welcome. Okay.
תודה לכולם.
Thank you.
תודה רבה.
תודה
לילה
רבה.
טוב. ביי
תודה
ביי.
רבה, להתראות.
להתראות. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
I appreciate it very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.